Below is the new game from Capy Games, you know, Sword and Sorcery, Super Time Force. This game, Below, is kind of a dark, mysterious dungeon crawler. They call it a roguelike. We don't know too much about Below yet, but we're going to go check it out and try and crack that mystery. Below has a very intentional sense of scale. You're a tiny little wanderer in this really big world. The world's not packed with monsters and enemies and things to see. It's packed with mysterious pylons and artifacts and banners and sigils. You know, you just kind of explore this large world trying to piece it all together.
We knew we wanted to make a game where you really felt like a tiny little character in a big, mysterious world and really, you know, achieve that like level of grandeur in a different way.
Below has a really great sense of atmosphere and style. You know, as you approach the island, you know, it's raining and there's wind and there's leaves blowing and there's tiny little branches and dust and it's all these beautiful little touches in the game that really give you a sense of place.
One of the main things that we decided on very early on was that we wanted the game to feel kind of eerily real. So we didn't want to go big, high fantasy. We wanted the world to just feel kind of natural and really take advantage of the scale in a way that allows us to sort of just really make it feel like you're looking into a little living place.
So one of the big aspects of Below's design is that they don't hold your hand. You know, you're this lone warrior with a lantern and a torch and a sword and shield. You could die from a spike trap, or you could be, you know, killed by a pack of roving wolves. There's a lot of dangers in the world, and that's really exciting.
Part of the enjoyment of exploring these kinds of games is actually exploring it, right? Like I think Dark Souls is one of the greatest examples. That and Spelunky, you know, sort of treat players as humans with brains and some sort of skill and ability to put two and two together over time, right? And get better at the game, which is a really enjoyable thing that for a long time was like missing from games.
And as you start to think about it from not the perspective of like run everywhere, slash everything, but like take stock of your surroundings, take stock of like...
be careful.
Yeah, be careful. Think about how you can kind of approach a scenario and deal with it in a way that's not going to kill you immediately.
So now I know that this is a trap and I'm just gonna put out my shield.
Well, combat-wise, can you kind of break it down what it is that you do? You've got like a sword and shield, so you've got like some guard and some like stabbing and then like a jump attack.
Yeah, so you've got like a regular swing. If you can do a poke by just like pointing in direction, so that's another thing you can do. If you're running around, you've got this like lunge attack, which is more powerful, but it sort of stops you for a little moment. If you're shielded, you can kind of counter an attack and do this little poke, like a defensive poke.
And each set of weapons has their own kind of unique tools. It's not just every weapon fits into the same category. Two-handed weapons can have like actual like full-on charge style attacks that are much more powerful, but put you in a much more risky situation. Again, it's trying to create those like give and takes and those risks and rewards, and letting players figure out how to, you know, use those weapons and deal with the very kind of challenging enemies in their own way.
Yeah, it seems like some of the enemies have similar capabilities. Like they have like dodging and parrying.
They do, yeah, very much
shielding.
so.
Okay.
Enemies can dodge you, enemies can counter your attacks. Our idea is to make the enemies in the world as sort of dynamic and challenging as possible, and also as clear and fair as possible too.
Below is really exciting because it doesn't really feel like a lot of games that we see and play now. It's very deliberate, it doesn't hold your hands. The combat feels good, it feels very tactile, it's simple but deep. It's also full of neat little mysteries that I think we're going to discover over the next year.